शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी राम मधुर शुभ मंगलकारी राम मधुर शुभ मंगलकारी हर करि रंजन त्रिशूलधारी हर करि रंजन त्रिशूलधारी दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो मोरा वंदारी दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो मोरा वंदारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी राम मधुर शुभ मंगलकारी राम मधुर शुभ मंगलकारी हर करि रंजन त्रिशूलधारी हर करि रंजन त्रिशूलधारी दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो मोरा वंदारी दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो मोरा वंदारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी कृपा करो शिव त्रिपुरारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो शिव गंगा धारी दया करो दया करो दया करो शिव गंगा धारी जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर बोले जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर बोले अंगभूति जपा में गंगा अंगभूति जपा में गंगा कवि मांग बोले जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर बोले जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर बोले ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय ओम शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, सांब सदा शिव, शिव हरे है, सांब सदा शिव, शिव हरे है, शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, सांब सदा शिव, शिव हरे है, सांब सदा शिव, शिव हरे है। हरे 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 महादेवा, हरे 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 महादेवा, पार्वती रमना सदा शिवा, पार्वती रमना सदा शिवा, नमामि शंकर तव चरणं, नमामि शंकर तव चरणं, भजामि शंकर तव चरणं, भजामि शंकर तव चरणं। शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, शिव हरे है, हरे शिव है, सांब सदा शिव, शिव हरे है, शिव शंकर परमेश्वरा नति शिव शंकर परमेश्वरा भजामि शंकर नमः शिवाय भजामि शंकर नमः शिवाय शिव हरे है हरे शिव है शिव हरे है हरे शिव है साम सरा शिव शिव हरे है साम सरा शिव शिव हरे है साम सरा शिव शिव हरे है।
बोले उमापति महादेव की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर 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 महादेव शंभो। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। तस्मै नमः परम कारणाय दीप्तोज्ज्वलज्ज्वलित पिंगललोचनाय नागेन्द्रहार कृतकुंडलभूषणाय ब्रह्मेन्द्र विष्णुवरदाय नमः शिवाय। ओम वंशी विभूषितकराननवनीरदाभात पीताम्बरदरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखारविन्द्रनेत्र कृष्णात् पदं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। श्री राम राम रघुनंदन राम राम। श्री राम राम रघुनंदन राम राम। श्री राम राम रणकर्कश राम राम। श्री राम राम शरणं भव राम राम। अतुलित बलधामं हेमशैलावदेहं धनुजवन कृशानुं ज्ञानिनां मृगगन्धं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातं जातं नमामि। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। भोले नमः शिवाय। भरा हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
गंगाधरा शिव गंगाधरा हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय
हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम
नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम
नमः शिवाय
हर हर भोले
नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय।
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय।
नागेन्द्र हाराय त्रिलोचनाय नागेन्द्र हाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः। ओ तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले। ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर जटातवी कलज्ज्वल प्रवाह पावितस्थले भोले। जटातवी कलज्ज्वल प्रवाह पावितस्थले गले वलं विलम्बितं भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिका। जटातवी कलज्ज्वल प्रवाह पावितस्थले गले वलं विलम्बितं भुजङ्गतुङ्गमालिका। दम 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 नादमर्वयं चकार चन्द्रताण्डवं तनोतु न शिवा शिवं तनोतु न शिवा शिवं तनोतु न शिवा शिवम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय शंभो
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय ओम
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः
ओ
शिवाय
हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय हर हर भोले नमः
शिवाय
ओ हर हर भोले नमः शिवाय कर्पूर गौरम करुणावतारम संसार सारम भुजगेन्द्रहारम सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि नमः पार्वती पतये कालहर दुःखहर दारिद्र्यहर हर 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 महादेव शंभो उमापति महादेव की जय। Please be seated. Om Namami Shamishan. This evening, the Lord is covered mostly with rudraksha beads. Our katha will be on the rudraksha beads this evening, and rudraksha beads and the damaru of the Lord, what it means. What does the jata mean? What does the trishul mean? We'll talk briefly about all of that. First of all, let's do the rudrashtakam, which, is a prayer to Lord Rudra. The name Rudra is very important to understand. From Rudra came the rudraksha, right? Rudraksha. It is not named Shivaksha, it is named Rudraksha. Why is it called that? Why is it, why is the damaru shaped like that? We'll talk about this evening. But first of all, let us chant the Rudrashtakam. The children will lead us in this beautiful chanting. Namami Shamishana Nirvana Rupam. Namami Shamishan Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahmaveda Swarupam Nijam Nirgunam निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशमाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। नमामि शमीशान निर्वाणरूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मवेदस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशवाकाशवासं निराकार ओंकारमूलं तुरीयं गिराज्ञानकोटितमीशं गिरीशं करारं महाकाव्यकालं कृपालं गुणागार संसारपारं नतोऽहं तुषारादृशं काशगौरं गभीरं मनोभूतकोटिप्रभाश्रीशरीरं स्फुरन्मौलिकल्लोलिनी चारुगङ्गा प्रसद्भारभारेन्दुकण्ठे भुजङ्गा चलत्कुण्डलं भ्रूसुनेत्रं विशालं प्रसन्नाननं नीलकण्ठं दयालं मृगाधीशचर्माम्बरं पुण्यवानं प्रियं शङ्करं सर्वनाथं भजामि प्रचण्डं प्रकृष्टं प्रगल्भं परेशम् अखण्डं अजं भानुकोटिप्रकाशं त्रयं शूलनिर्मूलनं शूलपाणिं भजेऽहं भवानी पतिं भावरम्यं तदातीतकल्याणकल्पान्तकारी सदा सच्चिदानन्ददाता पुरारी चिदानन्दसन्दोहमोहपहारी प्रसीद प्रसीद प्रभो मन्मथारी दयावधुमानाथपादारविन्दं भजन्ति हलोके परे वानराणां न तावत् सुखं शान्तिसन्तापनाशं प्रसीद प्रभो सर्वभूतादिवासं न जानामि योगं जपं नैव पूजं न दोहं सदा सर्वदा शम्भुतोऽभ्यं जराजन्मदुःखो गदातप्यमानं प्रभो पाहि यापन् नमामीश शम्भो नमामीश देशात्मनिर्वाणरूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मवेदस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशमाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। नमामि शमीशान निर्वाणरूपं विभुं व्यापकं ब्रह्मवेदस्वरूपं निजं निर्गुणं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं चिदाकाशवाकाशवासं भजेऽहं चिदाकाशवाकाशवासं भजेऽहं चिदाकाशवाकाशवासं भजेऽहम्। रुद्राष्टकमिदं प्रोक्तं विप्रेण हरतोषये शिवलोकमवाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते। बोले रुद्र भगवान की जय। Our pranam to all of you in the temple, our devotees our children, and of course our participants, our devotees online who are unable to be here. I'd like to welcome you to the 8th day of Shravan Mass 2022. Last week at this time, on a Thursday, we started this journey, this pilgrimage. It is the blessing of Bhagwan Shivji that we can celebrate Shravan Mass in however little or however much we do celebrate it. Shravan Mass has always been there, but over the last, I'd say, 5 to 10 years, even us, when we were at the unit, we never used to do every day, Mondays, of course. But coming here, we found a little bit more commitment, space, resources, children, and we made that commitment to do whatever we can to the best of our ability. Today, many people, even in Guyana, people are catching on. People are embracing Shravan Mass. Many temples in Berbice I see. I'm sure many other places. But at least some of the young pundits in Berbice are doing some sort of observation of Shravan Mass. I see Bat Settlement, they're observing Shravan Mass, pujas. I see my brother Pandit Devdat of number 11, he has Shravan Puja every morning. I want to compliment him for that. I think he has service this afternoon too. To be able to make that kind of commitment to do something, it doesn't have to be big, elaborate, something to the Lord. It's admirable by whoever does it. Remember, in our culture, no bad deeds go unpunished and no good deeds go unrewarded. We're not doing this for the deeds of it. It just completes us when we're able to do this kind of dedication to Mahadev Bhagwan. And on this, the 8th day, we have a long way to go, but it will just fly by. Here and there, and some exciting days like Mondays coming up and so on, it will just fly by like that. And we will get there, and when we come out of our Shravan celebration, we will be better human beings. Not that we'll be better than we are today. So Bhagwan's blessings to all of you who are here, and even who are not here, who are with us online. May all of you continue to prosper. May all of you continue to be guided by Shivji Bhagwan. And may the form of Rudra bless you. This evening is a very important evening. We have the rudraksha darshan. I will tell you almost everything that you need to know about the rudraksha, the bead. And many of us wear rudraksha beads and so on. We use it for different things. But we'll talk a little bit about it this evening, about the importance of the rudraksha bead or the mala. Before we do that, the Lord, of course, his name is Rudra, right? Why is it called rudraksha? But let's look at the name Rudra first. Rudra is the fiercest form of the Lord. Right? The fiercest form of the Lord. Little boy the other day here, Aditya, was asking me that, why do Bhagwan take forms? Why do Bhagwan take forms? So I asked him, I said, he was in his kurta and his pants. I said, do you dress like this to go to school? He says, no. I said, do you dress with your school clothes like that to come to the temple? He says, no. I said, do you dress with your school clothes to go to a party? That was a trick question because I want to know if he goes to a party. He says, no. I said, okay, that's fine. So I said, you go home and come back tomorrow and tell me why do the gods take different forms? He said, okay. He came back yesterday. I said, you have an answer for me? He says, yes. So I said, why do God take different forms? He says, just like I change my clothes from my Monday clothes to go to school, I wear my school clothes. Just like I change out my school clothes into my party clothes to go to a birthday party where children is and all this kind of things. Just like that, the Lord comes down in different forms for different reasons. So, well, that's the end of our conversation. Bhagwan takes different forms for different things. The form of Rudra when we say Rudra, it means that form of Shiva, which is not the meditative form of Shiva, which is not the smiling, pleasant form of Shiva, not that he's unpleasant. But when I have never gone in a battlefield, but I've read the Mahabharata many times and studied it. And the description of the warriors in the Mahabharata is that their eyes are fiery, their chests are pumped, their muscular body is there facing their enemies. Blood is spilling. That is how it's described. Their eyes, their face, everything is described. The warrior in the battlefield cannot be a meditative person. The warrior in the battlefield cannot be the smiling, meditative Shiva. I have never read where that happened. Even Ram Bhagavan, as he was fighting his battle with Ravan, when he was running out of power, and he chanted the Aditya Hridaya Stotram, even Ram Bhagavan portrayed an image that was very, very threatening and challenging for his opponents. So, similarly, Rudra Bhagavan, he's going to do the bad work. Well, not what we call bad, but he's going to be the destructive guy, the force that no one can reckon with. So he has to take a form that is suitable for that. There's a story in the Shiva Puran that talks about the Rudras, the coming of the 11 Rudras, Ekadash Rudra. And what are the names of these Ekadash Rudra? They are called Kapali Pingalo Bhimo Virupaksho Vilohitah Shashta Japadar Hirbhutnya Shambhuschando Bhavatstatah Ekadashaite Rudrastu Surabhi Tanaya Smrita Devakaryart Samutpanna Shivarupa Sukhampada. What are the names of the Rudras? They are called Kapali Rudra. There's a shloka that helps you remember. Kapali Pingalo Bhimo, Kapali Rudra. The one that appears with Kapal, the skulls alone. Kapali Pingala, second Rudra Pingala, Bhima, Virupakshaha, Vilohitaha, Shashta, Ajapada, Ahirbudnya, Chanda, and Bhava. They are said to be Ekadashi. They appeared in the form of Shiva in order to establish the task of Mahadev, to destroy all fear, from the lives of their devotees. That is why when we do our puja here, come August 1st, the August Monday, we'll do Ekadash Rudra chanting. 11 families back to back will sit down and worship the source of creation. The Shivalinga will take bath 11 times in that process, so that these 11 Rudras are pleased, and that the Rudras in us are pleased, that the Devatas are pleased, and that our lives become more fulfilling than it is today. Rudra, the fiercest form of the Lord, is who we're going to talk about today. And from the Rudra came Rudrashtakam, the eight verses to praise Lord Rudra. This evening, before we go to the Rudraksha bead, the Lord was also dressed today with the damaru. The damaru, which is, it appears like a drum. It looks like a drum, and it has, you play it like a drum as well. That's fine. Shivji Bhagwan is his own musician. He does not need a drummer. He does not need a tabla player. He's his own drummer. What is the meaning of the damaru? The damaru, if you look at it, it is like a time glass. If you look at it. See? What do they call it? An hourglass or a time glass? Hourglass? hourglass, whatever glass they call it. It's not a drinking glass, though. Right? It has that right time. The damaru represents time. The damaru belongs to the Lord of Time, who's called Kal Bhairav, Devaraj Sevyamana Pavanani Pankajam. This is the damaru. It is played as an instrument, but it represents time. From this damaru, the creation of the world came. The philosophy tells us about Nada Brahman. Nada Brahman, Nada means sound. Sound for Hindus is not noise. There's a difference between noise and sound. This here represents sound, which is healing. Which is uplifting. Not everything that plays out of a drum is healing and uplifting. Some of them give you a headache, and some of them take your headache away. Right? Like when we got to party outside for a wedding, that one gives you headache. Especially when you get 3-4 sets of them come. Gives you headache. But there's this one here, takes away your headache. This is not a Brahman or the source of sound. This also represents time. It belongs to the master of time, Kala Bhairav. Kala means time, or one of the meanings is time. So the Lord has the damaru. The damaru, of course, when it is played, new creation happens and old creation is destroyed. When the damaru is played, there is an elevation of energy among those who are present. Shiv Bhagwan has demonstrated this in so many ways. And so by holding this damaru, the Lord tells us, all of us have come from time. All of us have come from time. We are living in time. We may not be on time. It's a whole different thing. We may not be on time, but we're living in time. From time we have come. Time is what we are living in. And in time, we will go back to our source, which is time. Time is precious. They say that time is money in the business world, right? Every businessman will tell you time is money. Our Shastras tells us time is life. Time is life. Time is God. When we say start on time, it means respect time. By respecting time, we are respecting Mahadev because he's the Lord of time. Right? He's the Lord of time. Our community, we have a little bit of a, they say there is time and there is Guyanese time or West Indian time. So you'd fix a wedding sometimes and the Shrota will tell you, I'll say, so what time we start the wedding? We put 9 o'clock in the invitation, but Abi people are going to start 10 o'clock. I say, no. Not this pandit. When you work with one time-lapse pandit, then you will talk to that. But whatever time you put on the invitation, that is the time we should start the wedding. Because what happened, we put 9 o'clock on the invitation, and we say we're going to start 10 o'clock. What is that? It's reinforcing the fact that we have no respect for time. It's just reinforcing it. You have no respect for time. And then you show up to your 9 o'clock thing, and there'll be 10 or 15 people there, and they'll say, look, no, a pandit dehe, but you can't start on time. Right? They don't know the things behind the situation, but and if somebody asks, the invitation had 9 o'clock, what time the wedding start? The wedding start 10 o'clock. Who did the wedding? Exactly. So that guy gets the blame. That is why we stick to time. Right? Now, we may not always be on time, but if we are late on purpose, it's a whole different thing. Right? If you're late on purpose, it's a whole different thing. If you're thinking you got to go to a puja, you got invite for 10 o'clock to a puja. But if you're thinking as an attendee, by the time Pandit go in, he set up and he wash hands, Sasti watch and do all the pujas and things like that, by the time that hour, 11 o'clock, and then Hanuman. So I don't go in when he start talk, and then at least I'm there, and by the time that food, whatever. If you do stuff like that, that is not respect for time. It's just taken away from our disciplines, right? Damaru, the Lord holds it in his hand for a reason, because in his hands, he controls time. Controls time. I've been a priest for 30 years. I would say more, but I did my first thing, whatever that was, when I was 14. Actually, I can't remember, but I would say 14. And I think I've seen a lot to know, right? How much people have not evolved with this thing called time. We haven't, right? We haven't, because we take time for granted. And I've seen enough in this 30 years to know that many people sat on their deathbed. Many people sat on their deathbed. And you know what was their only wish? Not for money, because you're dying. Not for money, not for riches, not for anything else, because they have no access to that. But they want a little bit more time. I wish I had a little bit more time. I've heard it thousands of times because I've been there, right? I wish I'd had a little bit more time. I would have done so. Well, at that point it's too late, right? You say it's never too late. No, sometimes it's too late. Why wait until then, right? Stop wasting time in life. It is an insult to Shiva. The Lord has held the damaru in his hand, not as a plaything. He doesn't need damaru. He doesn't need music. He's Anant, right? He's infinite. He is by himself an entertainer, but he doesn't need that. But he shows us that we have to have respect for time. A lot will change, but in my opinion, I think our approach to time shall never change. But I tell you what, the few people who respect time continue to respect time. I'm sitting here telling you about time. There are times when I'm late, absolutely. There are times when we here, very rarely, we don't start on time, but it is not always in people's control. And if you're late because you've done your best, you shouldn't feel bad about it. At least you've tried. But if you're late on purpose, my guru has always said, never be on time. Never be on time. Be earlier than time. Be early, right, than time. And you do your best to do that, of course. Again, times when you be late, don't take it too bad, but be on time. In so doing, you'll be known as a person of time, right? And your discipline will be extended to everything in life. When we set a meeting at work, all of you, well, most of you are working people here. You think I can go to Microsoft Outlook or Teams or wherever we do these days and set up a meeting for 8 o'clock in the morning and says, it's 8 o'clock, you come and be 9 o'clock, let me show up. It doesn't work like that. You're gone. If you show up 9 o'clock for 8 o'clock meeting, you're done. Now we have a 5-minute rule. You show up 5 minutes late for a meeting is you're gone. So what we do in the community, right? We don't take it to work because we'll be slapped on the wrist for it or you're gone for it. Please be respectful to time, and that is Shiva in the form of damaru. That is one of the darshan you see this evening. The Lord of time, Nada Brahman. From sound came time. What are we learning? We have come from time. We are living in time. And in time, we will go back to time. There's a lot of time there, right? But just remember, time is God. Damarupani, Shulpani. O Lord who resides on Mount Kailash, O Lord who carries the damaru, who is known by the the name Kala itself. To you we bow, O Lord. We bow to time itself. Damaru pani shul pani he Natarajan namo 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 Damaru pani shul pani he Natarajan तुम आदि देव अनादि हो, तुम अंतहीन तुम अनंत हो। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। तुम आदि देव, तुम आदि देव अनादि हो, तुम अंतहीन अनंत हो। श्रीमंत हो भगवंत हो, है नाथ गिरिजाकंठ हो। शशि ललाट तन विराट, हे त्रिलोचन नमो 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 नमो। डमरू पाणि शूल पाणि, हे नटराजन नमो नमो। शंभो। निस्सार इस संसार में, शिव नाम केवल सार है। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। निस्सार इस संसार में, शिव नाम केवल सार है। शिव शक्ति है, शिव भक्ति है, शिव मुक्ति का आधार है। रोम रोम ओम ओम, हे यज्ञनाशन नमो 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 नमो। शूल पाणि, हे नटराजन नमो 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 damaru bhagavan ki jai. And so the Lord, we adore him today as the damaru, the Lord of time. I hope we can make attempts every day to be respectful to time, to the Lord. And so now the next darshan we have today of the Lord is the rudraksha mala darshan, which is, I think, very, very familiar to most of you, the rudraksha mala. Everybody here, I know, have a rudraksha mala. You have different kinds of it, fine, big one, little one, different colors, that's also okay. And I think we have known sometime about the greatness of the rudraksha mala. What is the greatness of the rudraksha mala? Why is it so great? Well, Shivji, Suta Uvacha, remember Suta? The boy, the son of Veda Vyas. He is narrating this katha. Shayena karshe mahapragya Shivarupa mahamate Shrunu rudraksha mahatyam samasat kathayamyaham darshanat sparshanan pyat sarvapap harasmita pura rudraksha mahima devyegre katino mune lakopakaranarthaya shivena paramatmana. Sutaji says, Shaunak Rishi Mahapragya. Suji is narrating to Shaunak Rishi and others about the greatness. He says, O Shaunak, O great soul, and all the highly intelligent ones, listen to the glory of Rudraksh, which I'm going to speak about in brief. Now, Suji's brief means a whole week. But we will be briefer than him because we have to respect time. Now, he says, Darshanat Sparshanat Japyat. He said the Rudraksha is extremely auspicious bead and is very, very dear to Shiva Bhagavan. By its merit, by its mere sight, or performing japam with the same, or using it as a rosary. Are bhai, mahapapaharam shubham, all sins are destroyed. Pura rudraksha mahima. He says, Suji says, I'm going to tell you about the full, about the pura. Pura means full. Rudraksha mahima. I'm going to tell you about the full greatness of the Rudraksha. Devyo katito mune. For the purpose of the welfare of the people, I will tell you all of it. He said, Shivji Bhagwan once was narrating. What did Shivji says? Parvati Mata has asked Shiva that Mahadev, what is the greatness of Rudraksh? Shiva Uvacha, Sruyatam tu Maheshani. Sruyatam tu. Shivji says, listen, O Maheshani. Lord Shiva is Mahesh and his Rani is Maheshani. He is Shiva, his Rani is Shivani, and so on. He is Rudra and his Rani is Rudrani. No? So, Shiva says, O Maheshani, for the sake of your pleasure, I will tell you about the welfare of the devotees and the glory of the Rudraksha. Hey Maheshani, Divya Sparasa Sahasrani Maheshani Punapura Tat Prakur Vatatasasyam Manasamyam Yave Mama. O Maheshani, earlier my mind felt disturbed. The Lord is telling. Even his mind gets disturbed sometimes. Disturbed, it's natural, it's normal. When you see something and you're disturbed about it, then there are many options of things you can do. But Shiva says, once his mind was disturbed about the world. And tapaha prakur tasratam. And he closed his eyes, right? He closed his eyes to go inside. right? The reason why we close our eyes in prayers, you don't close your eyes all the time. When you close your eyes in prayers, it should be in private most times. Why? Because you don't have any concern about the outer things around you. So what you want to do, you want to close your eyes and go inner. I think today we know everything in this world is a cliche now. Inner peace, inner bliss, inner happiness, inner contentment, and all that. It's a cliche now. But Shivji closed his eyes because he was disturbed by what he was seeing. What was he seeing? He was seeing his troubled devotees. People were behaving in a bad way, disrespectful way. So much so that the Lord could not stand what he was seeing, And that is why today we do our best and teach our children and grown-ups as well to be respectful to our surroundings. Everybody can dance. But dance does not mean you have to be vulgar about it. I've danced many times. I danced at Bhuvan's Matikor. Everybody was there. I remember that very clearly. I told you about it. And Bhuvan was getting Janeo. We had Matikor. I invited Mandir people to come over. Tasa is beating, bossing up. Everybody's sitting down quiet like this. Because, they see Pandit there and one. So I get up and I start to dance. With my dhoti and kurta. I am dancing like crazy. And then I pull them and little bit, and then they start to dance. You can dance, but dance for the Lord, right? You can dance to enjoy yourself too. Dance for yourself. But dancing does not have to mean expression of vulgarity. Because when these things happen, it disturbs the mind of people who care about you. You can dress nicely and very beautiful and walk down any place. But when you dress in vulgarity, these days, you can do everything, but it's nobody's business, fine. But at least do it respectfully. Present yourself respectfully. So nobody has to close their eyes and go inner, right? Respectful means a lot of things to a lot of people, so we wouldn't even discuss that. But I think you get the message or the picture. Shivji Bhagwan could not stand what he was seeing, so he closed his eyes. And he says, "Hey Maheshani, then after a long time, I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, putabhya charu chakshurbhyam, when I opened my chakshu, charu chakshabhyam, patita jalabindataha, tatra shrubibantu tejata, vriksha rudraksha samyagaha." When he opened his eyes after such long time, tears fell from his eyes. And the tears that fell from his eyes, which fell from his eyes, the teardrops fell on the earth. And when the teardrops fell on the earth, it was like the seeds. The teardrop were seeds. They fell on the earth. And from those teardrops, trees grew. Trees grew. Many trees grew. And what were they called? They were called the rudraksha. They were called the rudraksha. 14 types of trees grew from the teardrops of Lord Shiva. 14 types. And each type of tree, they bore different rudraksha. They are rudraksha of different kinds, from one face to 14 faces. One face to 14 faces of rudraksha. You can have a one-face rudraksha wearing. That one doesn't have a hole inside. You can have a two-face, a three-face, four-face, five-face, doesn't matter. The most powerful, one face. But I'll tell you a little story, which I think you know about that. Bhagwan Shivji says the teardrop fell, and when they fell, the trees grow, and they start to bear the rudraksha. They were grown in the city of Kashi for the destruction of sins at the instant of the Vedas. At my command, the rudraksha beads could be used by Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, everyone. He said they come in different sizes. Yatha yatha laghu syadhve tatadhika phal pradaha ekaikata phalam proktam dashankashay radhikam budhai. He says, the smaller it becomes in size, the greater is the benefit yielded by it. The smaller it becomes in size, the greater the benefit yielded by it. But there are many, many other things to that. Don't stop there. He said the rudraksha has been prescribed for the removal of papa. Rudraksha dharanam proktam papa nashana hetave. You know, with all these things, man should be sinless by now. You know that? Wearing rudraksha, sitting next to the Lord, Bilva Patra, listening to rudraksha, doing rudrabhishekam, these things, born since docking in the Ganga. We should be sinless by now. Right? We should be sinless. The challenge is, every day gives us an opportunity to be free of sins, or every day gives us an opportunity to commit more as well. All in your hands. It removes sins. O Goddess Parvati, there are different sizes he talks about. With the wearing of rudraksha beads, the grave sins are washed out. Rudraksha dharanam proktam mahapatakanashanam. Great sins are washed out. By wearing 1100 rudraksha beads, a person is turned into rudraksha himself, or Bhagavan himself. No? But there are conditions for wearing the rudraksha mala. Let us not stop there. Let us go on to more of it. He says, rudraksha, he tells us about tying at different places and all that. I wouldn't go into that because I want to tell you the more practical things of the rudraksha. How do you wear it? Now let me give you a little scenario. If I tell you the smaller the rudraksha, the more powerful it is, I think everybody's going to go to the shop and says, give me the smallest bead that you have. They are pretty expensive. The genuine rudraksha malas, the smallest beads are pretty expensive, really expensive, retail-wise. And some of them are not even genuine. So what happens? If I tell you to go, if I tell you the smaller the rudraksha, the most powerful, because the Puran says that, you'll go to the shop and you says, give me the smallest one that you have. Probably buy it. But what happens? You have to wear it properly. It is like you have an infection and the doctor says, I'm going to prescribe the strongest antibiotic for you. Strongest. Instead of 7 days, 1 day, 2 days. So what happens now? You feel nice, infection is going to go away very shortly. So you take the antibiotic, but the doctor instructs you, when you drink this antibiotic, don't drink alcohol with it. Otherwise, it's going to cancel its effects. You know, it's going to cancel its merit. Don't drink alcohol with it. But then you go and drink the antibiotic, and then you go and have a drink as well. Because you said, doctor, give you the strongest antibiotic. What happens? Cancels the merits and the power of the antibiotic. That in mind, you can wear the most powerful rudraksha ever. But if you don't carry this properly, if you do not carry this properly, then that rudraksha will have little or no bearing on your healing and your well-being. The shloka is here. I'll give that to you. I like to tell you things, but you'll say, Panditji, where it is written in a book? It says, well, here it is. Madhyam masam tulashunam palangrutam shighramevacha shleshmatakam vidaraham bhakshane varjate tataha. You can recognize some of these words here. If you're going to wear it, not have it, if you're going to wear it, these rules. Madhyam masam tu lashanam. Mas means meat. Don't think of anything. A person wearing the rudraksha beads shall not, if you're wearing it, like I do here every single day, those who wear the rudraksha beads shall not eat meat, gluttonous food, alcohol, Shishigremaha, Madhyam Masam Tulashanam, Palangum Shigramevacha. A person wearing the rudraksha shall not eat the meat, engage in it. Gluttonous food, pig, of rubbish, and wine, which is alcohol. So it means that if you have it, the rudraksha, wearing it on your body, and you engage in that kind of things, it will not be effective. It will not be healing. Right? A rudraksha, written in the Mahashivya Puran here, in Vidveshwar Samhita, chapter 25, it says that a rudraksha forms a cocoon. It means it creates an aura of you, a protective aura. So that if you're here and you travel to go to a next place, you take that aura with you. You will not lack sleep because of change of space. You will not lack rest. You will not lack your normal things that you do. You will not lack them because it creates for you an environment, an aura that is mobile. That is why the saints, one of the reasons the saints in the Himalayas, the sadhus, they always wear the rudraksha because they are moving from one mountain to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Right? So they need their aura, they need their cocoon with them. So wherever they move, they always are at the same pace in their life. The rudraksha mala. Rudraksha can be worn by a brahmachari, a householder, a forest dweller, an ascetic, a widow. It does not matter. This is the extreme secret, the Lord says. Anyone can wear it as long as you abide by the rules. And so, the person desirous of welfare should not wear rudraksha of the size of, we'll talk about the size of rudraksha now. If you are living a grihast life, there is a certain size that you do not wear, and that is most of you don't wear it. It's a very big ones. You only will see the ascetics wearing this size. You know the size on Shiva there? Shivji? That size and above, you don't wear that because it actually works the reverse for you. It is only worn by the ascetics, the one who are not in householder life. You cannot manage what it gives you. You cannot manage that. But he tells us most of the size can be worn. The rudraksha, eva tatta mahadeva rudrakshe padhashana, it destroys all types of sins. Now sins have types too. You have types of sin. You have pap, you have mahapap. Right? You have sin and you have mahasin. What is a pap, what is a sin, and what is a great sin? It's a whole different discussion. But you have papa and mahapapa. And rudraksha destroys all types of them. And so therefore, one who wears the same is dear to me. Tuddaro mat priya shuddho atyadhana uta parvati. And they said you can wear it in your hand. Those who wear the rudraksha in their hands, in their arm, there are ways and rules to wear it as well. They can never be harmed by anything, any forces external. He remains even adorable by the gods. And Shiva will, of course, protect that disciple who adores the rudraksha mala like this. And he says also there are some other things. The performance of japam, the rudraksha beads, multiplies the rewards by millions of times. Rudrakshanena japan mantram. When you use the rudraksha for japam, it multiplies your merits, your punyas by millions. Rudrakshena japan mantra punya kota gunam bhavet. Dashakoti gunam punyam. Dashakoti gunam punyam. A crore is a million. Na? Dashakoti gunam punyam dharanam labate naraha. So it's like using a tool to do something. If you have a screw to screw in the wall, right, and you have a flat screwdriver that's required, you can take a 10 cent or a 25 cent and you try to screw it in like this. It'll probably hurt your hand, take harder once you get into the wall. Or you can take a screwdriver and make like this. End of story. Or you can take a drill and put on a bit and done. Your tool that you... Somebody's cooking? Anyways, I think Panaji is not here, but that's fine. The tool that you use to do your work, will help you to make that work very easy, to achieve, to beat time and all of that. You can use a coin, you can use a screwdriver, you can use a drill bit, whatever it is, it will make your life easy. You can sit down and chant Om Namah Shivaya like this, or you can use a rudraksha to chant it. When you use the rudraksha mala to chant it, it multiplies your merit by millions. Till such a time a person wear rudraksha rosary of his body, up to that time, untimely death, as we call it, do not bother him. It means external forces cannot harm them. You know, the sages, the ascetics, who really practice sadhana, when they want to give up their life, they don't die, they give up their life. Right? The sadhus, they don't die because they have control over their prana. I'm not talking about the ordinary people who wear orange garb. I'm talking about those who have practiced, who have earned the name as a swami, as a sannyas. They don't die. They give up their life. Right? When they feel it is time to leave, what do? They take out their rudraksha or their protective garb and they put it aside. And then slowly they give up their prana, they give up their vital force of life. They do not die. When they're ready to leave, they tell their disciples around them that it is time for me to leave. It is time. This is known. Swami Ved Bharati, over, 5-10 years ago, he died in Himalayas. We have disciples of him. We know the whole procedure. When he died, when he left, how he left. He took off his protective garb. He told the people he's now going to give up his prana, and he slowly gave it up. Slowly gave it up. That is how they leave this world. And so, Bhagwan Shivji says, Parvati, Rudraksha, even the devotees of Vishnu, Bhagwan, should undoubtedly use the Rudraksha because it is a protective tool of life. And then he says, Rudraksha vivida proktam stesham vedan vadamyaham shrunu parvati sadbhaktya bhukti mukti phal pradan. He said Rudraksha are said to be of various types. The divisions are which are going to be related by me, Shivji, he's saying. Right? Okay. The divisions are going to be related by me, which should, O Parvati, be listened to you with devotion. The Lord himself is going to relate now about the different types of Rudraksha. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Ekavatra Shiva Sakshan Bhakti Muktina Phalaprada Tasya Darshana Matrena Brahma Hatyam Vyapohati Yatra Sumpujitasya Lakshmi Dusaranahi Nashyantu Paprita Sarve Sarvakama Bhavantihi. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Vivakto Deva Devesha Sarvakama Phalapradan Visheshata Sarudraksho Govadham Nashyate Dutam Trivakro Yohi Rudraksha साक्षात् साधना सदः तद प्रभावात् भवेयुर्वे विद्या सर्वा प्रतिष्ठिता। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय, हरि ओम नमः शिवाय। Bhagavan says, hey Parvati, there are 14 types of Rudra, Rudrakshmala. The one face, the two face, the three face, up to 14 face. Ek vakraha sakshat bhuktir muktim phal pradan tasya darshan matren braha hatyam vyapohati. The Rudraksha bead, which is Eka Vakraha, which is one face. One face. How do you know? If you look at this Rudraksha here, that is on Gangeshwar, or most of them on there, the big ones. 1, 2, 3. This is a four-face one, right? You can see the separation at each point. It's like a cut watermelon, you know, or pizza. 4-face, 5-face, whatever. So this happened to be a 4-face. So we can understand what this is just now. So there are different kind of faces of the Rudraksh beads. Eka Vakraha Shiva Sacha Bhuktir Mukti Prada. Rudraksha with a single mouth is indeed the form of Shiva himself. With a single mouth, a single face, is the form of Mahadev himself. I have one at home. I didn't bring it today, but I'll bring it sometime. One with a single mouth is Bhagwan Mahadev himself, which bestows the comfort as well as the salvation. A very look at it. It says, Tasya darshan. Darshan means a look. Just a look at it, darshana matrena. Just one look at it relieves a person of pains and sufferings in their life. It is so powerful. A look of it, imagine worshipping it. But let's talk about the worship of the Rudraksha. Yatra means where. Yatra sampujitas tasraha sampujit, puja. Wherever, that place, wherever the worship of the Rudraksha bead is done. Are you what you're going to hear about this now? We know about wearing it. We know about japam. But the place where it is worshipped. You see today we arti kare the Rudraksha. Right? You arti the Rudraksha. That place where the Rudraksha is worshipped. Yatra sampujitasya Lakshmi durtaraha nahi. Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, durtar, run away, nahi. That place where the Rudraksha bead is worshipped, Lakshmi does not run away from that place. Right? Rudraksha, or Bhagwan Shivji, is the source of happiness and richness. The source. That place where the bees is adorned, Lakshmi does not leave that place. And Nashyantu padraya sarve, Nashyantu, na? Nashyan means destroy, nashkare. At that place where the beads are worshipped, what happens? Daridra, poverty is destroyed, and sarve kama bhavantahi. Disturbances and poverty are removed, and the desires of people are fulfilled, where the Rudraksha is worshipped. Now, worship could just mean respectfully having it, adoring it. It does not mean arti and chandan on the Rudraksha. Don't go do that stuff. Adoring the Rudraksha. You wear it, respect it. If you can't wear it, carry it properly. But a place where it is respected, Lakshmi Mata will never leave that home. Now, the bead with two mouths, we talk about one mouth, two mouth or two face, fulfill all the desires. This rudraksha especially also washes out the sin of Brahmahatya. Right? One of the many sins, Brahmahatya is a Mahapap, is when you slaughter the Brahman, the time. Trivikramo yo hi rudraksha, the one with three face. Sakshat sadhana sadaha. The rudraksha will be with three mukhas or three mouth, provide all the means of life. Always with its influence, all the lores are family are established. It's good for family-oriented people with the three faces. Family-oriented people. Four face. And this one, they're not artificial, they're all real. So he's on Gangeshwar. Let's hear about him. Chaturmukha, four face, Chaturmukha. Swayam Brahma Narahatyam Vyapohitaha Darshanat Sparshanat Sadhyas Chatur Varga Phala Pradaha. Chaturmukham Swayam Brahma. Rudraksha with four mouths represents Shiva himself. Swayam means himself. Brahma, God. There's Brahma, there's Brahman, and there's Brahm. Brahma is the four-face, Brahma the creator. Brahman is the supreme Lord without a form, and Brahm means God. Swayam Brahma. The Chaturmukh is God himself, Shiva himself. Narahatyam Vyapohati. And it represents Shiva himself, and the one who wears it is relief of pains and sufferings as well. With the mere sight of it, it bestows the four aims of life. Darshanat Sparshanat Sadhya. By seeing it, it gives you a Chaturtha Phalapradam. Chaturtha means four fruits of life. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So this one here, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Wealth, righteousness, pleasure, and emancipation. We'll just talk about the fifth one. I won't talk about all because they're all powerful. A rudraksha with the face with five faces represents Rudra himself and is known by the name of Kalagni. Kalagni. Remember? Namaste astu Bhagavan Vishweshwaraya Mahadeva Trambaka Tripurantakaya Kalagni Kalaya Kalagni Kalaya Kalagni. Kalagni, it fulfills all the desires, bestows salvation to the devotees, the five faces. Kal Agni means fire, burning. Kal means time. By wearing the five-faced rudraksha, it of course is known by the name of Kalagni, and it burns away impurities of your life. And there are many, many more that we can talk about here. Well, we won't talk about all of them because it takes a lot of time. There are also mantras that you use when you're wearing a rudraksha. It's all in the Shiv Puran. If you're carrying the one-face rudraksha, one face, your mantra is Om Hari and Reem. Reem Namaha. That is the one used to wear the one-face rudraksha. Just like you drink the antibiotic, you have to do certain things to make the antibiotic work. Some of them you can't drink with an empty stomach. I can't understand in the world when my stomach will ever be empty to drink such an antibiotic. I always tell doctor, my stomach is never empty. But now, stomach is born. There you go. If you're wearing the two-faced one, Om Namaha, Hreem Namaha, Om Namaha. Hear this. If you're wearing the three-faced one, Om Kleem Namaha. Are you noticing something? Om Namaha, Hreem Namaha, Kleem Namaha. This is Sri Vidya coming up here. Then the four faces, Hreem Namaha, Om Namaha, Hreem Namaha, Kleem Namaha, Hreem Namaha. And then the last one, or five face, is Hreem Hum Namaha, Om Hreem Namaha, Kleem Namaha, Om Hreem Namaha, Namah Kleem Namaha, Hreem Namaha, Om Hrim Hum Namaha, and then goes on Om Hum Namaha, Om Hum Namaha, Om Hrim Hum Namaha, Om Hrim Namaha, Om Hrim Hum Namaha, Om Raum Shraum Raum Namaha, 12 phase. Om Hrim Namaha, Om Namaha, goes back into a circle. Different mantras for different rudraksha that you wear. So, if you're asking about a formula for success, a formula to enhance your spiritual life, do not, Bhagwan Shivji says, do not wear the rudraksha mala if you have a desire to enhance your material life. Wear the rudraksha or use the rudraksha if you have a desire to elevate yourself spiritually. Now there's a difference between what is spiritual, right? You can go, it simply means material is a material. Something you can touch, you can feel, you can relate to, you can see. Spiritual comes from the root word spirit. It means that which cannot be seen. Like you're a spiritual person, it means, you have habits or qualities that are deeper, that are inner, that are unseen, and that makes a huge difference. This here is to enhance your spiritual life, because a strong spiritual life makes you a great human being. Great human being. You take that spiritual life to your work. Not that you can teach people, Om Hrim Namaha, Im Namaha, Om Namaha. No. Your calmness in delivering whatever you do, your meetings, your words, it will be known by people. You set the level of the team, right? This is what we do all of this for, so that when we go out in the world there, we make a difference in people's lives by using simple tools and processes. Respect your rudraksha mala. All of you should have rudraksha mala. Don't fight up too much about the number of faces that you have. Fight up, no? Don't confuse yourself too much with the number of faces that you have. Now I'm going to tell you my story that I always talk when I do my rudraksha katha. We know the greatest of all the rudraksha mala or the rudraksha beads is the Ekamukhi, the one-faced one. So we were doing Sri Vidya class with my Guruji, and somebody says, Guruji, you spoke about the one-faced mala. I want to wear a one-faced mala. And the Guruji told him, well, the only requirement to wear a one-faced mala is you have to have one face too. You have to have one face, because the whole purpose of this is you have to reflect what it is. So he said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, sometimes you're angry, sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not content, sometimes you're displeased, sometimes you're anxious, and we can go on up to 15 behaviors. He says, start with the 15 phase first. He says, what? You're telling me to start with the weakest one? He said, yes. Because you have about 15 phases. You're happy, you're sad, you're content, you're displeased, whatever it is. And then when you feel that you're changing every day, one phase by one phase, then go to 14 phase, 13 phase. And he said, how long that'll take, Guruji? He says, well, maybe try one phase a year. He said, wait, I have to wait 15 years? He said, well, some people have waited 15 births in order to master an Ekamukhi. 15 births, You're happy, you're smiling in the temple, we're all pleased, everything. You go outside and somebody cut you off in the road, your language change, your face change, your gesture change, everything change. You give them more than 15 face, right? Nowadays we can't show face because we have mask. But the Guruji says maybe one face a year you can change. He said, okay, that's a lesson to learn. You have to reflect what you wear, right? In the form of the rudraksha, at least. Thank you all for being with us tonight. We have one sponsor that I'd like to acknowledge. The sponsorship came from Asha Ramnarayan. And the greeting goes, Asha and Anila, giving thanks to Shiv Bhagwan to continue to bless us with strength, health, and happiness. I don't know if they're here today. Are you here today? No. Okay. So Asha and Anila giving thanks to Shiv Bhagwan to continue to bless us with strength, health and happiness. And we did say, you don't have to have a birthday, you don't have to have an anniversary, but you can celebrate something in your life. And these people, Asha Ram Narayan and family, are celebrating blessings in their lives. So let's sing a song for them and ask Bhagwan's blessings. While we're singing this song, if you have prasad, no, there's only one Pandit today, so I gotta offer prasad. So let's sing a song for them. And while we're singing this song, I'll ask the kids to sing this song so we can use time appropriately, and then we can do the dedication. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya.
Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya. Bolo bolo sab mil bolo Om Namah Shivaya.
Umápati Mahadeva ki jai. Reminder, we are here every evening. We invite you to come and join us for satsang. And please sponsor an evening. Now, if you want to come do puja, or if you want to do so virtually, please do so. If you have desire of sponsoring the decor or donating for this, please see Sita in-house and give her the money, or Asha's here as well. They buy flowers for the decor, so we'd like to help out with that. Thank you all very much. Remember some important dates coming up. Monday is Soma Pradosh. Monday is already great for Shiva. When it falls into Shravan, it becomes Shravan Somwar. But when Pradosh falls on a Monday in Shravan, triple layer of blessings. We're going to do Shank Pujana and Shank Abhishekam on Monday. I'm expecting this place to be packed up. But the puja on Monday starts at 5 because we have 6 families so far. So they got to wash hand, do puja and all this kind of thing. Ganesh puja, Kalash puja, then we have to do the Shank puja on the ground. Then afterwards we come to the Abhishekam. So I'm going to ask all those who are sponsoring Monday to come at 5 o'clock if they can. We'll confirm that. So it's going to be nice detailed puja. The following week we're going to have Ekadash Rudra, where 11 families will be required. I'm going to give you the details of that tomorrow. 11 families will be required to do the puja on that day, one after the next. And it's going to take a few hours. We're going to start mid-afternoon, go into the evening, and finish off nicely. So stay posted for that one. Thank you all very much. And we'll stand for RT now. Yani kani cha papani janmantar kritani cha tani sarvani nashyantu pradakshinam pade pade. Om Jai
Shiva Omkara Swami Hare Shiva Omkara Jai Shiva Omkara Swami Hare Shiva Omkara Brahma Vishnu Sadashiva Brahma Vishnu Sadashiva
करुणावतारम संसारसारम भुजगेन्द्रहारम सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनां सर्वे सन्तु निरामय सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोले गणपति भगवान की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की, सियाभज रामचंद्र की, नवग्रह देवता की, लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की, राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय, गंगा मैया की जय, यमुना मैया की जय, नव दुर्गा माता की जय, सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय, सरस्वती माता की जय, महालक्ष्मी माता की जय, जयकारा शेरवालीरा बोल साचे दरबार की जय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव। शंभो सत्य सनातन धर्म की सबको ये जय जय सीताराम। ओम नमः शिवाय। Please take our tea and prasad at the door. Please feel free to take pictures as well after we do our video here. Thank you.